Okay, so last night I watched episode 4 of season 7 of Game of Thrones, The Spoils of War. Honestly, probably my favorite episode ever. I honestly do not know where to start. I was watching it and I was thinking, oh, this is the best scene ever. I'm loving it so far, and not thinking that anything could top it, and then it just kept on happening. It was amazing. Stuff on Dragonstone, again, with Jon and Dany, thinking there's a bit of incest level is high, I suppose. We got them going into the cave. I remember watching the scene where he shows her the cave paintings by the children of the forest, and then she's just convinced, and I'm like, well, they don't look that convincing to me. I don't feel as if they looked like authentic cave paintings that I would look at and go, they have been there for centuries, they were there before men existed. Jon could have drawn those for all you know. But yeah, I just feel like the production side of things on that was a bit dull. I really liked the scene on the beach afterwards when Dany finds out that more of her allies have been wiped out. She was really being, to be honest, an asshole, and I actually quite liked seeing that, because if she wasn't panicking and acting like that, I would question if she was a human. And I think it was very realistic. She's really just an asshole to Tyrion. The way she speaks to him is something that you would never expect her to do, considering the way she's defended him in the past. To hear her turn around and speak to him like that was quite shocking. While I was sort of like, oh wow, don't speak to Tyrion like that, I did understand, and she should be panicking, to be honest, because her three major allies, or her three only really allies of Westeros, three major houses, are now essentially gone. I mean, the Tyrells are gone. She can only get them back if the people of the Reach decide to ally with her, which they very well might. If Theon and Yara, if they get Yara back and they're able to conjure up an army or a naval fleet, and Dorne, if somehow Ellaria Sand's able to get out, or if they're able to go down to Dorne and promise them that they'll bring her back if they fight with her. But as of right now, she should be panicking, and it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's understandable. So we had a lot of good callbacks this episode, which is something that I'm loving this season. They seem to be really going back to those earlier episodes and referencing them, and I'm really enjoying that. You know, we had Davos correcting Jon's grammar the way that Stannis used to, and it really made me happy. And while I wasn't the biggest fan of Stannis, that was like one little thing that I really liked about him, this little human aspect of him, and I thought it was a really good way to show that Davos hasn't forgotten. Yes, he's serving Jon now, but he hasn't forgotten, and him and Stannis were together a long time, and they, as cold as Stannis was, they were quite good friends. Cersei was gonna take some more loans out from the Iron Bank, which I feel like the Iron Bank isn't that stupid. I mean, they don't know about Dany, the whole battle at the end of the episode yet, which I feel like once they learn about that, they might jump ship. But, like, the crown was in debt to them forever, and I feel like wanting them to take out a loan again just after they've paid off years and years of debt, you know, this massive debt that we've been hearing about for a while, I feel like they've got an agenda to that. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of that. We then have Winterfell. Arya is back. It is upsetting to see her come back and Jon not be there, because to be honest, that's the reunion that I think everyone was wanting. But Jon will come back and they will reunite, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's very strange to see 3 Stark children in the same place. And then, you know, 4 once Jon gets back. I mean, Stark. I love how they wouldn't let her in. As soon as she walked up, I thought, oh, they're not gonna let her in, and it reminded me of that scene in season 1 where she couldn't get into King's Landing because they didn't believe that she was Ned Stark's daughter. They actually thought she was a boy. Those guards, I really liked that they were kind of assholes. We've never so much seen someone loyal to the Starks just be just an asshole. Aside from, you know, we saw that thing with the prostitutes back in season 3 or whenever that was, but we're talking asshole, not monster. And I just liked that they were kind of dicks, because usually you see like the Lannister soldiers or something being dicks, and I thought it was nice to finally see a flip of the coin there. I did like when Arya ran off and they went to tell Sansa, like, oh yeah, she ran off, and they're like shitting themselves telling her, being like, oh yeah, but it wasn't her, it was just some Wintertown girl. I really liked that. I really liked those two. I like it when minor actors in shows make an impression on me, you know, and those two will probably never return, but they made an impression on me, so good job, you guys. I liked that the reunion between Sansa and Arya was actually quite awkward. I mean, these girls haven't seen each other for years, and to be honest, back when they were together, they weren't the best of friends, to be honest. She seemed quite willing to talk about her list. I didn't think she would be so willing to talk about it. I mean, obviously Sansa sort of thought it was funny at first, and then maybe thought, is she serious? Which is something later on that I'll talk about with the fight with Brienne. And I thought she would have been a little more annoyed that people seemed to not be taking her list seriously, but that's just me. Bran's still being a detached little asshole. I mean, I know he's technically not supposed to be Bran anymore, that he's the three-eyed raven, but the departure seems kind of weird for me because he was technically the three-eyed raven at the end of last season as well. At the end of last season he was the three-eyed raven, but he was still coming across as Bran, and then at the start of this season he is full three-eyed raven. It seems like a weird cut, like we've missed something in the middle entirely. We finally see that awesome dagger again, the Valyrian steel dagger. Littlefinger gives it to Bran, who then gives it to Arya. What his motives are there, maybe he's thinking he's not getting anywhere with Sansa, so he's going to try for Bran. Bran asks him, do you know who this belonged to? Which you would think Bran would know, and at first I was like, why are you asking that? Don't you know everything? But we're thinking that he's testing Littlefinger, and he would know that Littlefinger would know whose dagger that is. And he's testing him. I really loved that when he just looked at him and went, chaos is a ladder, because that was a callback to one of my favourite scenes ever in the show, and you could just sort of see Littlefinger go, shit. But at the same time, why are you not telling your family that maybe this guy shouldn't hang around, that he betrayed your father and all this? Bran ends up giving it to Arya. Are we thinking that Littlefinger wanted Arya to have it all along because he knew Bran wasn't going to keep it? Or was this a flaw in Littlefinger's plan? We're not really sure. So the fight between Arya and Brienne. This was amazing. I really liked seeing how Arya actually fights, because we've never seen her actually sort of do any water dancing. We've never really seen, you know, a long scene of Arya actually showing what she's got, and that she really can hold her own. She can actually battle someone, and with that tiny little sword. She doesn't need a massive sword, and seeing her with that dagger is really cool. I loved how Sansa and Littlefinger were watching. I loved Sansa's looks, that she was looking and she seemed quite concerned, thinking that this isn't the Arya she once knew. This list is probably real, and Arya's probably killed people. How many people has she killed? So moving on, I suppose, to the scene that everyone wants to talk about, the loot train attack, the field of fire, or just fucking Dothraki and dragons going fucking ham. As soon as, you know, Jon goes, oh, our queen's not here, oh, where is she? And it cuts to the Lannisters, and you're thinking immediately, holy shit, something's about to happen. You start to hear the Dothraki, and it takes a while for you to actually see them. You just hear them, and then you see the Lannisters getting ready for a battle. It takes maybe 2 minutes to actually see the Dothraki. I was sitting there before they came over the hill, just so excited, waiting for them to appear, and my friends were laughing at me. But we finally actually got to see what the Dothraki can do, because we've gone on about it for 6 seasons, when Robert's saying no one would meet the Dothraki in an open field, and when Viserys is trying to acquire Khal Drogo's army, everyone's going on about what skilled warriors the Dothraki are, hearing about it for ages, and we've never really seen a full-on battle with the Dothraki, and boy was I pleased. I was not let down at all. I thought it was amazing. I think everyone that worked on this scene was, from visual effects people to practical effects people to the horses to actors, anyone that worked on this scene, thank you so much. Just seeing, you know, the Dothraki come over that hill, I would have been pleased. I would have been perfectly happy with that. And then we top it off with a dragon screech, and then you hear the music, and you see Drogon fly on in. And I love seeing people's faces when they see the dragons for the first time. It is my favourite thing. I just love it. And to see Bronn and Jaime's faces like, oh shit. So we finally actually got to see what a dragon can do. And just one dragon, not 3. Sort of seen it at the end of season 6. We saw Dany against the Slavers, but it wasn't as large a scale as this. So we've been on about what dragons can do for all these years, and now we finally get to see it. And that shot alone of Drogon just flying past, just destroying shit, was amazing. The scorpion thing that Qyburn made. Jon goes and gets that, and he shoots at Drogon twice and hits him once. He only wounds him, doesn't kill him or anything, thank goodness, because I was sitting there freaking out. My friends were laughing at me, and when he hit him, I was freaking. I was my friends, the two friends either side of me, were just laughing their asses off at me. And I was like, if you fucking kill Drogon, I will end you. Anyway, I love how then Drogon just flies down, burns the shit out of it, and then he gets down and just whacks it with his tail, and it just destroys it. And I feel like that one action just summed up my entire thoughts on that scorpion thing, because honestly, what the fuck was that thing gonna do? Jaime is charging to try and kill Dany. I loved that. I want to give credit to Nikolai and Peter Dinklage. Their acting I thought was amazing. Even before Tyrion is looking at Jaime, he's just seeing, you know, the Lannisters burn, the Lannister army burn, and he's very emotional and quite upset, as you would be, because it's actually happening in front of his eyes. You know, he wasn't there for the sack of Casterly Rock, he wasn't there for any of that, but he's here for this, and he's seeing his countrymen burn. It wouldn't be a pleasant thing to see. And then when he sees Jaime charging towards Daenerys and he's saying, "You fucking idiot, you fucking idiot." So much emotion in that moment. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode, what you thought of what I thought of it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week with the review of episode 5. Bye.